Why does everybody love gangsters? Nobody ever talks about that. What is it that is so attractive about gangsters? In fact, what is a gangster? Who fits that profile? And who cares? We're going to unpackage it today. OG's Uncut Conversations on the Culture. Let's go. Welcome back to OG's Uncut Conversations on the Culture. I'm Priest, your host, and I'm with my cousin and co-host, T-Rex. Yo, we in it. You can get it closer to you, a little bit closer, or it won't come up there?
Nah, you good. Yeah, I can see what my voice is.
You jumping? Okay.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay, man, well, shit, we're going to get into the gangster stuff.
Yes, sir.
Again, I'm going to put this first question out there, man. Clearly, our culture loves gangsters. I think America loves gangsters.
Right.
I think 50 Cent got that song. I forget the name of it, Hustler's Ambition. I think he did it for his movie back in the day. He said, America's got a thing for this gangster shit, whatever. That's true. You know, you look at all the movies, you look at how, rappers emulate that. The Italian mafia was on that. It's just something that became fixed in the culture, man. So I want to open with that question. Why is America, why are people so in love with gangsters?
I'll let you start this one off first. Then I'll start the next topic.
I don't know, man. I think gangsters, they do what they want. I'm talking about the gangster image. I'm not talking about how we gonna unpackage it and go beneath the surface, but when you talk about like a gangster, a drug dealing, gun slinging, bad boy type thing, it's like a person who takes their fate into their own hands. They take the law into their own hands. Good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. They controlling their destiny. And I think that's probably the most powerful thing about a gangster, what makes it attractive. I think that sends like signals of masculine energy, authority. It's a person who is like, I'm not going to be controlled, but I'm going to control my outcome. And I'm going to go against anybody who's trying to undermine my outcome. I think that's what's attractive about a gangster. And I end with this. I think a lot of people, a gangster represents what a lot of people would like to do in certain situations, but they feel like they can't do. They might have some constraints. They might be afraid of the consequences or the public perception that follows what they do. And the gangster just don't give a fuck. And I think everybody, whether they would do it themselves or not, everybody's paying attention to the person who don't give a fuck.
Okay. When you was talking, I think was gangsters, somebody, what I believe is gangster.
No, the question is, why do people love gangsters?
Why do people love
gangsters?
gangsters?
If you don't want to answer that, we can move past it, but I'm saying that's the question.
I think, to be straight up, I think why people love gangsters because they cut through the bullshit.
Yeah.
Gangsters don't go through all that bullshit like, look at mafia. Everybody know taxes is bullshit. Gangsters don't pay taxes. The mob don't pay taxes. Like what Trump is doing is fucking gangster. He know he the president and he can do whatever and you really can't do shit about it.
Right.
I think a gangster cuts through the fluff. It cuts through all the talk.
Yeah.
It's almost like they don't even respect politics.
Facts.
They like fuck all that shit because all it is talk at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think gangsters are less talk and more action. But whatever they do, when they do talk, it's like facts. It's a line drawn in the sand. There's no straddling the fence. It's no gray area. When I watch gangster movies and when people, it's no gray area. It's either black or white. You know what I'm saying? When you really want to get to the nitty gritty of shit and don't want shit to continue, and you just like, let's cut the bullshit and bam. I think that's why America love gangster, because like what you saying, I'm saying it in a different way, but it's the same thing you're saying.
Right.
That it cuts through a whole bunch of bullshit. It is what it is.
That's facts. I like that, and I like the way you phrase it, because essentially when you taking your destiny into your own hand, that's cutting through the bullshit. Because a lot of times in our society and system, there's a way to do everything. It's a process for everything, and sometimes the process don't make sense. It take too long. It don't work. You got people who are using the process to manipulate you, to fuck you over. Gangsters be like, fuck all that bullshit. I'm going straight from A to B. We're very direct. And I think a lot of people, the fact that folks fuck with gangsters so tough is really saying that folks is tired of going through all the bullshit. And so it becomes an alter ego. It's like, yeah, let me look at this guy. He ain't with none of that bullshit. He going straight for it. He going straight for his money. He going straight for his woman, straight for his family. So yeah, I think that I like that. That's why people love gangsters. But we can transition right into what a gangster is. You were starting to talk about what a gangster is. I think what you said maybe already touching on it. Continue with that. What you think a gangster is to you, not to society. To you, what a gangster is.
I mean, a gangster is a person that a real gangster. Not what my gangster is. It seemed like a gangster cuts through the fluff. They get what they want. There's no shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah.
They don't say, well, maybe or I hope. They just get straight to it. And the what I know about gangsters, they know the truth. They're not it's like the movie Divergent. They not gangsters. When you really look at them, they know the system is at hand, but they buck against the system. That's what gangsters do. They know that it's something that's controlling everybody, and they go against the system. That's gangster. Like gangsters. They know they got to pay taxes, but they don't, because they know it's some bullshit. But if you look at rich people, they don't really pay taxes. They know the loopholes where they don't have to pay taxes.
They on another type of gangster shit.
They on some gangster shit. So that's what I look at gangsters. A lot of people will say that's negative. A lot of the way I even think, I ain't gonna say it's gangster, but I like to get shit done, and I don't like excuses. I don't like options. Gangsters, that's why I like gangsters. It's no guessing, it's no assuming, it's no excuses. It's either you can get it done or you can't. And a lot of times people think that I'm mean, I'm a bully, or I'm insensitive. And I'm like a big ass teddy bear, but when it comes to handling business and getting shit done, that's my mind. And a lot of people say I'm fucked up to be that way, but you always calling me to ask me for help, which is crazy. You don't like my methods, but for some reason you keep calling me, asking me for help. And that's what I think. When people love gangsters, because it's an outlet, or where people be like shoulda, coulda, woulda. So it kind of keeps the candle lit in people's heart that at least somebody out here doing it, even though I'm not doing it, somebody out here doing it, like some keep a hope alive type shit.
Yeah. I think people live vicariously through gangsters, because you don't feel like you can do that. In the situation you in, you feel like you got to go through the system, the process. But you love seeing a motherfucker who is just taking it by the reins and getting it done. And I like that. I think gangsters they're about results. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And whatever path is the least path of resistance to getting results, that's usually what that mentality goes to. You said something I'm going to touch on. You said that when it comes to handling business, you more in that mindset, gangster, bottom line. But then the other side, you a teddy bear. I think that a gangster has more than one side. You know what I'm saying? Because I think being one way is always going to be imbalanced. I think even if you got even if you a bottom line results driven person, you still a person. You can't. So it's a blend to me, because even if you look at the Italian gangsters of the movies from back in the day, these cats out there shooting it up, whatever they got to do to get their business going, but they got these routines and traditions where their heart is at. Family at the center. You gangster about taking care of your family. Every Sunday for these guys, they in church with their mom or whatever the case is. So it's two sides of it. You got the personal side and then you got the business side. What you think about the personal side of the gangster?
What do I feel like the personal side?
What do you think of it? Or do you think there is a personal side to gangster?
What people don't fail to realize, gangsters just as human as everybody else. They just got to a point in their life where they just not putting up with shit no more.
Exactly.
They just got brave. Maybe a situation created them.
What creates gangsters?
Huh?
What creates gangsters?
I think circumstances, situations make you go gangster. Nobody just is born just doing what we talking about.
Right.
Something had to happen. You grew up where you was underprivileged. Something had happened to a family member that was unjust, and you say, "I'll never let that happen again." And I think everybody got some gangster in it. Some people stay there and they never come out of it. Some people know how to tap in and out. I know how to tap in and out of it.
Right.
And you got some people that abuse it. And I think that's the one where everybody is fixated on. People are fixated on the gangsters that's using it for the wrong reason. Everybody got gangster in them. And what I mean by that, you put somebody in a corner or put somebody in a situation, eventually that fear turns into fire and they're gonna attack your ass. But I think the social engineering, the people that's falling in love with this gangster, the gangster that everybody loves, the image that they love, is somebody that's using it for the wrong reasons. Yeah. And normally it's our culture, FBA, where they show us in the limelight of using it for the wrong reason. Yeah. They don't show us that's doing gangster shit, which we'll go down there. They showing like that's just what we all about. When we do something gangster, they automatically think is negative. But when you look at other cultures, they do the gangster shit, but they glorify, they doing it for the right reasons. But we do it for the right reasons, but they put the stigma that when we go gangster or we take that gangster mentality, they look at it as negative.
Yeah, I agree. I think when they misframe it as negative, I think that's what it becomes. That's the performative gangster. The gangster that we created in society, that's a performance. That's not really gangster. To me, being gangster is somebody who know what they stand on and they stand on it at all costs. You know what I'm saying? It's different ways to get to your outcome. Some people are more diplomatic, some people are more straight to it, but at the end of the day, you getting to it. You know what I'm saying? And you selecting the mode you need to be in for your environment. If you in a business environment, you business. You know when to be cutthroat, you know when to be diplomatic. But at the end of the day, you know how to get to it. But I think, they put this, the reason the gangster that we see on TV and a lot of the young guys playing in society in the rap game is imbalances because I think it's a performance. You're not showing the humanity of it. Because at the end of the day, like you said, gangsters are human just like anybody else. They just a specific type of human. Can you think of any moments in your life that when you look at your definition of gangster, you will say, yeah, that was gangster?
I think when it come to
kids, right?
My kids, but before I even had kids, I think I have always, me personally, anybody that tell me to do something, like gangster, I bucket people when it come to health, since I'm a personal trainer. Yeah. I always get gangster with doctors.
Oh.
I always get gangster with them.
This is facts.
It's just a natural instinct.
You get gangster with doctors.
I get gangster with doctors.
You bucket up on the man with the white coat on in there with the glasses. He be like this, Mr. Brown? Mr. Brown?
Yeah, I have always been in. I can say that's where I really rise to the occasion when it comes to health and somebody's telling me I need to do this or they check my blood or something. I ask them, how do you know? Was you there when the blood was tested? Or you just going off of what somebody's telling you? Or I get gangster with them when they tell me to take medication. I'll ask them, would you give this to your kids? And how long? Or I ask them simple questions. How long do I have to be on it? Why? I ask them who, what, when, where, how, why. And when they can't answer it, I'll be like, no, I'm not going to take
How they
the
responding to that? How they responding to that energy though?
They floored. They can't really respond. They put it back on me. Well, like, we're not telling you to take it. It's your option. It's your body. You free to do it. And I cut them off. I know I'm free to do what I want. You're suggesting and you're pushing that I should take it. Convince me why I should take it. Since you can't answer the questions, I have a right to refuse it. And if I have a right to refuse it, why do you feel like you have a right to offer it? And they floored. I ain't disrespect, but that's gangster. And then they were like, well, we're going to still write you the prescription. It's up to you if you want to get it or not. And I say, well, you should already know the answer. You never answered none of my questions, so you already know.
So you like to confront the doctor right there as opposed to just go pick up the prescription and just set it to the side and not take it?
Yeah.
Are you trying to make a statement with the doctor? What you trying to convey on the spot?
I'm doing all that.
Okay.
I'm trying to make them feel uncomfortable. I done seen family members, they got victimized by taking medicine.
Yeah.
I done heard stories. And they say shit like this, that if you have any side effects, come back, we'll adjust it, or we'll put you on something else, but they can never tell you the reason why these side effects. I guarantee I could tell anybody could test this theory. When a doctor asks you to take the drugs, ask them what's in it. They can't tell you. They just tell you shit like this. When you get the medicine, read the instructions. And everybody know when you get medicines, you get some paper rolled up about this fucking thick, and I guarantee, I don't care how fucking tall you are, you hold your arm, that shit gonna drop to the floor. And I guarantee, and I mark my fucking words, type in any word that's on that shit, it don't have a definition for it.
It doesn't?
It doesn't have a definition.
Yeah.
So if you can't research medicine that you taking in your body to see the side effects of, why trust the doctor?
Yeah. I feel you there. So some people would say you're doing too much because
okay, the medicine doing too much too.
Some people would say you're doing too much because, and that's not my position. I'm just echoing what I'm thinking about interacting with people. They would think you're doing too much because it's confrontational on the spot. And most people are conditioned to just trust. They're conditioned to just trust institutions without questions. So the person who actually asked the questions, which are good questions, a lot of time is labeled, branded as confrontational or doing too much. But I feel like this. When you was talking, I'm thinking back to what makes a gangster. I feel like when something is threatened, something that you love, or your survivability is at stake, or fear. I think it's those three primal components that make people make a decision to go gangster. Like we talking about cutting through the bullshit and not accepting bullshit, testing what comes through. Because that's another way to cut through the bullshit. You testing
gangster.
it.
Yeah.
That's gangster. And we talking mentality now. We not talking about society, drugs, and guns. Now we shifting to the mentality of a gangster. Yeah. And I think that when you talking medicine, you talking about your body. That's survival. So some people, when they start asking questions and they have concerns, that's coming out of a survival instinct.
And people threatened by that.
Yeah.
And a lot of, I tell my wife this, I'm glad you I went there and we going this way. A lot of times people they call it avoiding conflict. It's not avoiding conflict when you have a right to ask them questions at that time.
That's facts.
I hear a lot of people do that. They won't ask the question, and you probably be like, well, when you were there, why didn't you ask? That's being gangster when you ask questions that I guess if you feel like is wrong, but it's not wrong. That question just didn't come from nowhere.
Hey, cuz though.
That's crazy.
It's another side of gangster that we ain't talking about though.
Hit on it, please.
The whole, if we talking medical industry right now, they gangster.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because it's like certain industries are gangster. That's why people are afraid to ask the questions why they there. Because you feel obligated.
Okay.
Because the thing is, like you said, once you question the doctor and you tell the doctor, hey, well, if you can't explain it, then I have the right to refuse it. Then why are you offering it, right?
Yeah.
You drill it down to that. But it's like a lot of people don't even cut through that bullshit. And I'm not saying people should challenge. It's up to you. If you're concerned about your body, that's on you. But this is just an example.
Exactly.
But like an industry like that has so much authority that they can be gangster. They just can walk in and say, okay, you got this. I'm going to give it a name and you take that. And then some people, and then some doctors are even, get condescending with you when you ask the question. Some of them will be like, why you asking me a question? What, you been reading WebMD? Now you a doctor? Like that's gangster in a way, because it's like I'm forcing something on you. I don't need to explain it. It's going to impact your body. It's going to impact your health. It may even impact your gene pool, your livelihood. And I'm just giving it to you, and I don't need to ask no questions. That's a gangster position because some of these industries have so much trust that they can just be like, all right, do that. And then when it fuck up and side effects come, okay, we'll come make an adjustment. Okay, now go back and do that. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I think that's why people love this side of the gangsters that we are, because they wish they could do that. But everybody has the right to do that. What I'm trying to break down, that you can be gangster and it don't have nothing to do with the streets. It don't have nothing to do with the guns. Your gangster's everyday life.
That's facts. I'm glad you said that.
That's the aspect that I'm coming from. I ain't saying nothing about guns or shooting that.
Gangsters.
I'm just showing every day is an opportune time to show your gangster in a right way that you are justified. Keyword justified to do.
I agree.
And a lot of people always wonder where the bullshit come from. Why am I going through this? Because you have an opportune time to show your gangster where you don't have to go down or be subjected to that.
That's facts.
You only realize it until after you done got hit.
Right.
No, we need to do that in the forefront. And us as FBA people, we've been social engineered. Now I say white supremacy, especially when it comes from a white person's mouth. We take it as God's mouth.
Damn.
We take it as golden.
Damn.
And the same way I challenge my FBA people, I do it to white people as well.
That's facts.
I don't compartmentalize my gangster.
The same energy. That's what's
I keep the same energy,
which is a big problem with a lot of the folks who consider gangsters in the public eye.
Yeah,
they have that energy for their own, but when somebody else do the same thing, they absent.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I agree. I like what you said about like everyday gangster. You ain't even talking about the streets. You talking about the mentality.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, what I'm hearing in this conversation is you talking about protecting what you love, protecting your interests, protecting your livelihood, standing up for that. And this is coming back to my definition. Being gangster is knowing what you stand for and standing for it at all costs.
Yes.
So anything coming at you that's about to adversely affect what you love and your ability to live, you got to be gangster about that. Don't mean you got to be an asshole or whatever the case is, but you got to get to the bottom of it. And you can't flinch based on how people gonna react to your questions or your approach.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, I want to transition to this. You said everybody got some gangster in them, and I agree with that.
Yeah, for sure.
How can people tap into it though? Because we got a lot of bullshit that swirl around in society. And some people silently accept shit that they take hits on later because they were scared to be gangster in the moment. So what would you say to people to help them tap into what T-Rex does when he move? Not saying they got to do it exactly like you.
Yeah.
But how T-Rex move, how I move when you confront a situation. How can they tap into it in real time?
Okay. When your five senses are when any part of your five senses are distorted.
I like the word distorted.
Like if I'm having a good day and I know I'm at peace with my body and say something hits my mind and it's distorted, okay, I got to find a way to get gangster with it. It can be like a smell hitting your nose and you're like, oh, I don't like that, and you speak up on it. Anything that distorts, like a beacon signal, let me put it like that, a beacon signal to get gangster is when it disturbs your peace of your five senses. I think that's the signal. It could be something you're hearing, something you're seeing, something you're smelling, something you probably be saying or somebody saying to you. I think that's what I mean. I think that is like the key component. That's how I look at it. When something disturbs my five senses or distorted, I'm gonna lock in, and my gangsterism is gonna bring my peace or my harmony with my five senses back into balance. I think that's the most simplest way. You ain't gotta look for nothing or nothing like that. Anything distort your five senses, or disturbs your harmony, I think that's a beacon. Like, oh, time to bring out the G. Out me.
Okay. You mentioned the word signal, and I like that. After the break, we're gonna get into those signals being distorted and how you should respond and pull out your gangsters. We'll be right back. When people start accepting that your voice is a signal that you can actually interact with, it's a game changer. But right now, a lot of people think they have a communication problem, but they don't. They have a signal problem. See, a lot of people speak clearly, but too few come across clearly. So now it's not just about words. It's about how other people interpret your full expression, your signal. I did a one-page download on this. Free download. But if you want to see what I'm talking about and you want a real-time read on your signal, book a session. All right, welcome back. We talking about gangsters because you said something about anytime your five senses are distorted. I love the language because you in VP studio territory now. And yeah, that's perceptive of you to talk about the five senses and know that your piece can be distorted. Your signal is distorted. And essentially you saying, stand your ground. How do I stand my ground in this situation and reestablish peace internally? I agree, because a lot of times the shit that you need to be gangster over presents itself before the disruption happens on the outside.
Yeah.
You feel it coming. You know, like Beanie Siegel said, I can feel it in the air. You know when it's coming. But once you start feeling that distortion, right then you decide, am I going to adjust internally to just go along and comply?
Or I'm going to get gangster.
Or I'm going to get gangster. I'm going to stand up. You know, and what I love about that is that how you stand up is up to you. It don't mean you got to be like this and you got to be, it's up to you.
How you want to approach
but
it.
it's up to you to occupy your space because you know what's off, you know what's right. And when you in tune with yourself, it's like, nah, I'm going to occupy my space on this and I'm going to decide how to articulate myself in the situation. A lot of people, that's where a lot of people falter at, man.
A ton of people falter.
Yeah.
And I say I add to that what you're saying is too that if you wait too long, hey man, it's not gonna come out the way it needs to come out. And now you done went from a gangster to looking like some people may call you a monster. Because that's what happens to me is when I should have dealt with it at hand, I end up looking like the bad guy.
It's misplaced. It's out of place.
It's like, out of place.
Why you doing it? Looked like an overreaction.
Yeah.
When the moment passed and then you try to come back and get gangster.
Yeah. So I think that we need to be in tune with it. Once again, we're talking about gangster. Y'all got to keep in hand what we talking about. We ain't talking about nothing about the streets yet. That's we used to that.
Right,
That's
right,
prevalent.
right.
But this is the key thing I'm trying to let y'all know. If y'all get with the gangster that I'm talking about, it'll probably never lead to the streets. It probably
That's
will
facts.
never get out of the hand to where you got to use the gun.
That's facts.
If you did a gangster like I bring up the Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Man incident. Hey, dog, you know you're not happy what this dude was doing, but you kept Pooh Shiesty. I'll be Pooh Shiesty right now. I'm being talked and manipulated and to keep going with the flow. Now, deep down inside, I know I'm not liking this. That's when your gangster's supposed to come out.
Right.
And say, hold on, I'm not feeling this.
Right.
Let's redo this because I don't want to wait until later on
Right.
and this become bad blood, which it doesn't happen.
That's facts.
A lot of times people activate their gangster too late and the gangster that you use fucks up everything.
No doubt, man.
So I'm just using that.
Now, that's a great example.
Yeah.
That's a great example.
Because I'm pretty sure how Pooh Shiesty felt. Dude, that shit just ain't come out of nowhere.
I love how you put it, though. You're right, because
you already knew the
when something was off in the
and that's when your gangster should have rolled.
That's when you should have spoke out.
You probably wouldn't have went to prison.
But you got a lot of cats who in tune with that distortion that you talking about, like when something is distorted in your signal. They in tune with that, but they not clear on how to bring resolution to that. So they just pop off, right?
Yeah.
They going from 0 to 100 when it's a different way to go from the distorted signal, like something off, I ain't feeling this, to actually resolving it. Like there's a way to navigate that to restore peace and be like, okay, I'm good with this version of the situation.
And you got you have people out here too, they see in you that they done threw you off and distorted you.
Right.
And like what you said, it's like the doctors, they're gangster for putting it on you. The people that you dealing with, your boss or whoever,
they see it.
They see the
see
distortion. They see they putting the distortion.
Facts.
They're waiting to see, is he going to get gangster or is he going to let it slide?
Right.
And then if you let it slide, don't think they're going to turn down. They're going to, how do y'all young people say, they're going to turn up.
Yeah.
They're going to keep distorting. And then when you should address it then, when you finally do it, oh, where's all this coming from? Now they want to play like they got amnesia.
Now they the victim. And I like the crossroads there that you pointed out, because it's like the people who putting it on you see it. They see that it's bothering you.
They can see it.
But it's like you got a choice. You gonna stand, go gangster, or you gonna bow and conform. But some people with the humility philosophy might be like, just comply, just do this. They don't want you to them people are willing to accept internal disruption, but they don't want external disruption. So basically, like the humble party is just telling you, just be okay with not being at peace so that you don't cause no disruption out here. But the deception is the people who looking at you internalize your own disruption is gonna be like, okay, I can get away with it. So I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna do it again, and then it's changing who you are. You being fucked up on the inside. You are not having peace. And then the person who wait too long and pop off, like, now you the monster. I mean, I feel like the gangster is responding in the moment and figuring out how to bring that across. Because you don't have to accuse anybody of doing anything wrong or whatever, but just speak your truth. Look, I'm hearing what you're saying, but this is how it's landed with me. And I'm not quite settled with that. Here's what I need from you for me to be good to go, basically. Right. And then you just negotiate that space, because now you show them where you are and you asking them what they can do to help you get to where you need to be. And you just figure out how to verbalize getting to where you need to be. And if you can't get to where you need to be, it's like, okay, well, it looks like we ain't gonna have no common ground here. We don't have enough common ground to move forward. And that's that. But yeah.
I will add what you're saying, what was dropping, that I would like to add to you, to what you were talking about, is that I know there's people that's gangsters are thinkers and they always have a plan A, plan B, plan C.
Okay.
The people that tell you to go with the flow, they're not I'd use the word three-dimensional. To be gangster, you got to be three-dimensional because as a gangster, when you speak on this, they're going to try to throw this at you. So you got to be, it's like chess. You got to be 2 or 3 steps ahead. And guess what? Now that we talk about it, most gangsters and most people that's thinkers, what game do they all love to play?
Chess.
Yeah. To be gangster, people think that when you're being gangster, you're ignorant. No, the smartest and the most intelligent people are gangsters because they know that the way I'm coming is going to be some resistance. You're going to block me here. I got to have something here. I got to have something here. I got to have something here. The people that's that's creating a problem for you, they're one-dimensional because they're comfortable.
Right.
They're bullies, as y'all like to say. They're bullies. They're abusing their power. They like to abuse their control. So that's why they look at gangsters as a villain because, God damn it, every time I try to get him here, bam, he here.
Right,
Bam,
right,
he here.
right.
Bam, he here. But people not understanding, a gangster is a thinker.
They won't just bow down.
He got contingencies on top of contingencies on top of contingencies.
Right.
And people threatened by that. And that's why people that's lazy just like to go home and watch gangster movies because you wish you can do it, but you can do it. You just don't have, something has to trigger you to do it. But most of the time, like I say again, when you do it, it's gonna be painted as you looking like the bad guy, and then you're gonna feel like you embarrassed, but you was right for doing it, but at the same time you feel embarrassed.
Right.
So now you caught in this fucking matrix.
That's facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I gotta take a jab. Religion do that to you. It keep you in the matrix.
It does. Big time.
Red pill, blue pill.
Big time. And it penalizes you for even thinking about stepping out and thinking on your own. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I like that, man. We're gonna bring this to a close. I like that, man. One-dimensional versus multi-dimensional. Gangsters are multi-dimensional. At least successful ones are. I think some people confuse gangsters with crash outs. Crash out is a one-dimensional person posing as gangster.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you only got one mode. It's like when you sense that internal disruption, your 5 senses off, you crash out. You ain't got no process. You ain't got no plan A, B, C, no contingencies. You one-dimensional. So it's easy to set a trap for you. Easy to set a trap.
And most of your best gangsters that, if you look at Bonnie and Clyde, Young Guns, Billy the Kid, it took them a while to catch these guys.
Frank Lucas.
It was because these niggas wasn't one-dimensional.
Yeah.
They was three-dimensional. They was multiverse.
What's my man name down there in Medellin, Colombia?
El Chapo?
Not El Chapo. I think Escobar.
Escobar,
maybe.
You got.
I can't remember
Pablo.
his name. It's maybe Pablo Escobar.
Yeah.
I watched that series, man. Oh my God.
Yeah.
This dude was ruthless, and it took a long time to catch him.
Yeah.
And it's like he created another reality, because you had government and what everybody else was living, and then he went straight to the gusto and created his own shit, his own system.
Yeah.
That's gangster. But you don't have to be illegal to be gangster.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? You just have to have your own mindset.
And that's what I go by. And the only reason I'm saying that is because that's how I am.
Facts.
It's like, damn, I know when I say this, I know what's coming.
Yeah.
So I already know I got to be boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
But to the natural eye, people think, oh, he's just talking. But no, I'm already knowing what's coming.
Yeah.
A gangster, shit, Martin Luther King was gangster. These guys can sense and knew what was coming.
They strategized.
Way before the time. Yeah.
They strategized. They were at war. We don't even know it. The Montgomery bus boycott was a fucking gangster move. You know what I'm saying? They hit them in the pocket. They figured out where they had leverage, where they had and where they could control outcomes, like where we can make you feel our power. And he organized and made them feel their power. That's strategic thinking. That's gangster.
On both ends.
You know what I'm saying?
He knew what he was doing. He knew what was going to come back for him.
He did. And he knew how to use what was going to come back. So he already knew. It wasn't like he wasn't expecting like a crazy response. He knew what was going to come. And he was like, okay, we're going to make this go viral. We're going to bring you a lot of bad press. And then you're going to have to let up. That's why I fuck with Dr. King. Even though the integration shit, I think they manipulated the whole thing, but the way that brother handled that shit, gangster. And I'm gonna add this as we close, because you said gangsters are thinkers and multi-dimensional. They're not one-dimensional. I'm gonna say gangsters are also readers. Their perception, not book readers, people readers and situation readers. A person who's gangster reads situations. They read people because they know how to assess their environment and detect where danger and disruption is coming from. A gangster not only thinks in terms of contingency plans, a plan A, B, C, but they are forward thinkers. When I look at the landscape, I can see what's emerging. I can see what's going to work in my favor and what's going to work against me. And then I start strategizing how to navigate all of that. You know what I'm saying? That's a powerful tool that a gangster have. They have powerful observation skills. I'm gonna put it like that, because you dealing in a survival environment. You know what I'm saying? And you got to stay alive. You got to keep your income flowing and all of that stuff. And you got to make sure that you navigating around the people who trying to come at you, man. Any last thoughts?
Yeah, my last thoughts in closing is gangsters are thinkers, observers. And I think if we're going to look at a gangster, that's what we need to put the definition on as a gangster. And I'm going to say this, gangsters don't take no breaks. Gangsters don't take breaks. To be a gangster, you can't take no breaks. To be a gangster, you can't take no breaks. You always basically in the fire. You never out the fire as a gangster. To be where you are and just keep your success and everything, to stay on top of that mountain is gangster. So you don't get no breaks.
Yeah.
So if you a type of person that's not disciplined, don't have a routine or any kind of structure, you're not a gangster. Gangsters have all that.
Facts.
They don't speak on it because that's I done gave up the secret power of a gangster. If you ain't built like that, you're not no gangster. If you're not a thinker and observer, you don't have a discipline or a routine or a structure, you're not gangster.
That's facts.
All gangsters that held their ground have all that.
That's facts.
And they don't play when it come to that.
That's facts.
Hella high water.
Yep. And in my closing thoughts, I say that echo what you saying, that gangsters don't take a break. My interpretation of that is what you stand on, you always stand on. You don't take time off from standing on your values. What you believe, who you willing to protect, who you willing to sacrifice for is a constant. It don't mean you always in a confrontation, but it means that you always occupy that position regardless of who talking, who coming against you. That's where you stand on the situation. So it don't matter what angle people are coming from for you on. You occupy that space. What you learn to manipulate is the different ways that you can respond from that space, but you stand on that. That's gangster. And lastly, I say gangsters are family men. Yeah. A gangster, you can't, I won't say a family man is a gangster, because not necessarily. But a gangster is most certainly a family man.
Oh, for sure.
Don't mean you got to be married, but it means that the people you love, the people you're responsible for, the people you care about, you down for them, regardless. You know what I'm saying? And that's what. So
without them, it would be no need to be a gangster.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You're just doing it for fun, which most, I hate to say, our people and our youth do it for it. They think it's for the fun of it. Yeah. That's facts, man. Good conversation, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it. We closing out. If y'all watching on Apple, Spotify, share. If you're watching on YouTube, comment on what you think gangster is. Maybe how you been gangster, how you stand up. But as we always say for y'all YouTube watchers, make sure you don't watch and hide. Like and subscribe. Till next time, we out. Peace.